Alright, this video is going to be for Lesson 2 exercise. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started. As you can see, my default color is on now. I've got pretty much everything set up as the default. So I'm going to go ahead and start drawing this. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Basically, from the last 2 or last 3 videos, you should know everything you need to know to draw this pretty quickly. So I'm going to draw it the way that I draw. I'm not going to, walk through the book's instructions or anything like that. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do a multi-line. So we're going to start 0, 0, enter, 0.5, 0, enter. Whoops, forgot one thing. So if you start seeing lines like this, and you look down here, you can see you have an XY on your gnomon. We're going to delete that. And we need to go into machine, and we need to choose our lathe, and of course we need to go into planes, and we need to make sure we're working on the DZ plane. Okay, now I am ready to go. So I'm going to go 0, 0, 0.5, 0, and then we're at 0.5, it looks like the part is -3/8. So we're going to go 0.5, -0.375. And next we are at a dimension of 0.875, -0.375. Next dimension would be 0.875, negative. It looks like we're adding a 1/4 inch onto that 375 now. So 1/4 inch plus 375, of course, is going to give us 625, -0.625, enter. And then we are going to go to all the way up to 1 inch. So we're going to go 1.0, negative, and it looks like we are, so it's going to be 1.5 minus 375, so we get 1 1/8 plus 375 that is on the tip there. So it's actually going to be 1.5 in the end. So we're going to be -1.5, enter. And then our last dimension is going to be 1.375, -1.5, enter, and 1.375, -1.875. Oops, I forgot the 1. 1.875, and enter. Oops, I must have typed in something wrong. See how that line's, I can tell right away that line's angling down. That's a problem. So I'm going to delete that, and let's go redo that one. And it's going to be 1.375, -1.875, enter. There we go, that looks a little better. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the radii. Let me check out of that, and it looks like we have an 1/8 inch radius in 2 places, and that's going to be here and here, and hit check. And then we have a chamfer that we need to add as well, and that looks like a 625 chamfer, 0.0625, and we're going to add that one there. Okay, so that is the basic outline of our part. Everything there looks good to me, and of course when I do this I always look, oh, it does look like I'm missing a radius. My apologies, I'm missing an internal one, and that is why I always check. So when I'm finished drawing, I always look at my part, and I look at what I've drawn, and I make sure that they look the same. So now I would say that that is the finished part. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to set up my stock. So stock setup, I'm going to change my plane to make sure that it's working on the DZ plane for my stock. Properties. I'm going to make this 1.5 inch material. Length is 2 inches. The actual length of this part is 1.875. I'm just going to leave that 2 inches. That's fine. The length is not a big deal. I always want some back there to put my jaws on anyway, so that's okay. My right margin, of course, as usual, is 0.01. And then my left margin, of course, we'll make that 2.0. Oops, not 12. We'll make that 2.0. 2.0. There we go. Okay, and hit check. And let's turn our jaws on. And I'm going to do from stock, grip on max diameter, and I'm going to have a 1.5 inch grip length. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so again, as usual, I'm going to go through this pretty quick because, again, we basically know everything we need to know to do this. So I'm just going to go to face and tools from library, check, and I know everything in there is right. Rough, select here, check. I know everything in here is right as well. Everything looks good, check, perfect. Let's go to finish. I'm going to do my last, check. And for this I'm going to need a different tool. Okay. Again, everything in here is correct. It does my finish. Next, I need to drill this part. So I'm going to go to my drill. And of course, this has what appears to be another 1/4 inch hole in it. So I'm going to use my 1/2 inch spot drill. And once again, I'm going to go to my negative 0.135 and turn off my tip compensation. All right, and there it shows my spot drill. Okay, so I'm going to go to drill again, and in this case, I'm going to select my 1/4 inch drill, and I'm going to hit check. And I'm going to go to my negative 0.5 as it's instructing. Now I need to turn my tip comp back on because remember the 0.5 is always to the diameter of the drill. I don't want to go 0.5 from the face of my part to the tip of the drill. I always want to compensate for that. Okay, so I'm going to hit check, and if I zoom in I can even see right there I have a little chamfer on the front. So that is perfect. The only problem there is it looks like I selected a center drill. So that's a problem. So we need to go in and change that. And I didn't notice that. Okay, so here's regular drills. There we go. This should fix that problem. That looks much better. Okay. Alright, so lastly, I'm just going to pick my cutoff, select my boundary, and I'm just going to hit check. Oops. Oopsie, didn't mean to do that. Cut off, do that again. Forgot to select my tool. Select my tool. For this one, this is only 1375, so I'm going to leave this tool the way it is. I don't need to adjust the length of that tip to make sure that it doesn't crash. And just plenty long enough. Everything in here is good. Check, and we are done. So that quickly, that part is finished. So as you can see, that took literally 5 minutes, and I was explaining everything. So I could have had that done probably about 2 minutes flat if I really was rushing. So everything's there, everything is deburred. Yeah, so that is a nice finished part. Alright, well, again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or go ahead and come see me in class or my office hours. Alright.